What up, what up, what up, y'all? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy Young SMOOVE. That's me. Let's go. Yo, I'm coming at you with some of the hottest, dopest interviews from my city, your city. You already know what it is. And not to mention the fact, I got my R&B only that I'm coming back to on TikTok. Where we jam out to the hottest R&B. Keep in mind, we're going to chop it up, hear about the latest and greatest in hip-hop and more with my good friends and good times. And if you ain't watching, what's wrong with you, bitch? Either way, push the damn button and let's start the show. Yeah, let's go. All right, what up, what up, what up, y'all? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy, Young SMOOVE, and we are back. I am back with another great interview as we are kicking off the interview series. I am amazed anytime anybody reaches out to me, but the Intercept Music Group reached out to me, and we wanted to talk to the CEO of the music group, Jesse Flores. Jesse, say hello to the people.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you, Smoove, for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. So you've had an incredible journey through the music industry, from Polygram to Virgin Music Group to VP at Intercept Music Group, which is where you are now. Can you walk us through your path and what fueled your passion for artist empowerment over the years?
Yeah, so I started off in college working for a distribution company called Polygram. Group distribution, and to be honest, my entire career has pretty much been in distribution, which I'm very fortunate, closing in on 30 years next year. And I just kind of worked my way up the ladder. Started off as a part-time college rep. Once I graduated, I moved to LA to be a field marketing rep, and then artist development rep and sales rep. And then in 2004, I had the opportunity to join EMI Music as a director of urban marketing, which is my first national gig. So it was a big step for me, and I really had a chance to spread my wings over there, doing urban marketing, which also kind of transitioned into doing third-party distribution deals with independent artists, which at the time wasn't very prevalent. Now it is. But back then, basically when you're an established artist and you're no longer signed to a major label, you still wanted to continue with your career and put out music for your fans. So we gave them an opportunity to do that, where we offered them a third-party distribution deal. They had 100% creative control, owned the rights to the music, and all we did was be a service partner as far as distribution and marketing is concerned. So had a great run there with some very well-known artists such as Ice Cube, Trina, Twista, Bobby V, Tyrese, a lot of great artists, Raekwon.
Which was actually going to be my next question too, as a matter of fact. So you worked with all of the great legends, from Ice Cube, Raekwon, DJ Premier, Stephen Marley, Trina, and the list just goes on and on and grows. What is your most memorable moment of working with those artists, though?
Just learning the business and growing. As I worked with each of the artists on the different projects. Each artist is different. A lot of them, either had a team, or that maybe sometimes it was just a manager and the artist. So different, various types of deals and teams to work with. But just the whole experience, I wouldn't take anything back from what I did. But it was a great time, because not only were they creating music and working on being an independent label and being a business person and handling the business side, whereas most of the time you think of artists as just being creatives. All they do is record the music, just send it off to the label distributor, and they take it from there. Being an independent and handling your own distribution deal is totally different. You got to be involved in all aspects of the business, and in order to really succeed. And at the end of the day, you also get the lion's share of the revenue, which is great as well.
That is awesome. I think that the landscape has changed, as we talked about before, so dramatically. How is what you do? I won't even say equivalent, but like, how is what you do now different than what you did in the beginning of the game?
I feel it's a lot more rewarding now, because at the beginning of the game, it was a more traditional side of the record business, what everybody knows music business to be, whereas an artist gets signed to a record label and they put the music out, and the record label is pretty much the gatekeeper. It was hard to get in contact with fans back then directly. Now you have social media, you have direct access to your favorite artists, and they can respond to you, they can send you a DM. back and forth and so forth. But it's just a different landscape now, and I think it's more rewarding because now there are more independent labels and artists out there. They're seeing the success, and the majority of the business today is coming from the independent music sector, which is amazing.
Right. Intercept music and the industry impact of what it is. What makes intercept music different from other platforms that are out there, and how do you see it changing the game for indie artists?
Yeah, so Intersect Music, for people out there that don't know, is a global music distribution company for independent labels and artists. We're at the forefront of music distro and tech, enhanced by Mike Love Service from our team of music executives. So we're kind of we fit that niche of not really a DIY distributor or one of those bigger distributors that provide label services or act more as a label. We're like
Mm.
right in the middle of that. So we're providing services and tools for independent artists and labels that can really help grow their career. Maybe it's an artist that has 5,000 followers on Spotify and 1,000 subs on YouTube. We try and set realistic goals with them and help grow their career, be their strategic growth partner, help them take it to the next level. With whether it's new releases or whether it's catalog, we're there to help them grow their career.
Gotcha, gotcha. And also, I noticed on the website. First of all, the website is gorgeous.
Thank
It
you.
is very AI driven, which I kind of noticed, but I loved it. And I love a good color scheme. Like the color scheme was very galaxy, like it was just kind of out of this world. But what I also noticed is that one of my favorites, the all time greats, is also one of your spokespeople for that, which is the METHOD man.
Oh yes.
When I tell you, and I just recently watched the new movie that he was in, and God, why can I not think of the name of it right now? But I just watched it recently. It's the action comedy with him and Michael Jai White, and it's the wildest thing,
Yeah.
and it's hilarious. So it is low key funny. I chuckled a couple of good times. But what I was going to ask was, so Method Man is the spokesperson for Intercept. How does how did that connection come about, number one, and what does his involvement mean to the brand's message at this point?
Yeah, so I have to be honest. I've been with the company for about 4 months, and all that happened before my time here. So I don't know
Okay.
exactly how it happened, but Method Man obviously is a one of the living legends out
So
there,
great.
and to have his blessing and to be a part of Intercept Music was definitely a positive and a plus for us, and we're definitely thankful for that.
Yeah, and Intercept focuses on a lot of technological, and I know words. We won't act like I know words today. I'm so sorry. um, Technology and AI driven marketing. How are those tools helping artists today, especially with the major labels backing at this point?
It's a big help. When it comes to AI, we really don't support the creative side of AI when it comes to making tracks and AI type of artists. We prefer to have the human element be a part of the content creation
Sure.
of music. But when it comes to marketing, we definitely include AI uh, as part of our dashboard. So, say you don't have a publicist and the artist wants to put out a bio or a press release, we can all generate that through our dashboard
Right.
at Intercept Music. So that's a huge plus. Same thing with social media messaging. You can use AI to create social media posts to support your new release within the dashboard. We also have a merch integration with Shopify, which is
Mm.
great as well. So if you put out a single or an album and you want to create some custom merch just for that specific release, that can all be done within the dashboard as well. So there's just a bunch of tools that our clients can utilize, as well as analytics as well. So you want to make sure you know what you're doing at each of the DSPs and how your project's doing, whether it's streaming, whether it's not, where you can put a little ad dollars behind a specific type of piece of content that you want to put out, and it's really generating interest at a TikTok or a Facebook or YouTube. All that advertising can be booked through the dashboard as well.
Well, that's cool. That's definitely cool. So we're gonna switch gears just a little bit. Let's talk about like vinyls, for instance. And as mediums have changed throughout the years, from cassettes to CDs to um, hard disk drives, at this particular point, it's making a comeback with both collectors and younger audiences. As someone who's seen like multiple shifts in the industry, what are your thoughts on vinyl as a musical medium?
Vinyl is definitely making a comeback, like you said, over the last few years. I was actually on a webinar from Luminate, which used to be called SoundScan, where they talked about this, and it's really amazing how the teenage demo is really into vinyl. Like the amount
I
of
like it.
growth, I think, doubled over the past year or two in the 15 to 24 age range.
Hmm.
So, these kids are definitely finding vinyl and buying record players and, supporting, any type of vinyl releases, whether it's catalog or so new releases as well.
Yeah.
It's just making a comeback, and it's a great thing.
You want to know how old I am? Let me tell you how old I am. I still, I still have a CD book.
Yeah, so do
And,
I.
and here's the wild part about that. The pictures that you see behind me, right?
Mhm,
Those were in the CD book, and I was like, I'm never going to use the covers ever again. One
mhm.
side, this is the hip hop side, and then what you can probably see on that side is like Faith. So that's the R&B side. The books are leveled into those. Like I
Oh,
am that old, and they were in, and then because here's the thing, kids, before the internet, we didn't have anything to do. So I literally had my CDs in alphabetical and discography order, which is completely wild. I don't know why that was the case, but they were, and they're still like that now, so that's fine. But
yeah, we're from the same era, so I'm the same way.
it's
Yeah.
wild, and I would never let anybody borrow it. There's no, you don't borrow it. I mean, at
Mhm.
best, I might burn it for you. Don't tell the people, but you know what I'm saying. You don't borrow. You borrow my CD. It's ludicrous. But on the flip side, streaming has completely flipped the business model. How do you think streaming has changed the artist journey for the better or for the worse?
I think it goes both ways. I mean, I think it's amazing how you can have access to millions of songs in the palm of your hand, when it
Mhm.
comes to streaming and subscribing to a Spotify or an Apple Music. But at the same time, the amount of money that's being made by these artists is fractions of a penny. It's not what it
Yeah.
used to be. Where when you had a CD release, the wholesale was like $7, so you're making some decent money.
Hmm.
But now with streaming, you gotta, just a million streams alone on like a YouTube is probably like $4 or $5,000. So
Yeah.
the economics of it has changed, but
And
the
speaking,
ability to consume it's been good.
right, and speaking of economics too, you just made me think of something. Has that landscape also changed in regards to like the music video? Because as you're seeing a lot of artists nowadays that aren't doing music videos, but because there was a lot of product placement or promotional placement that was in videos, is that part of the reason that that's changing?
It could be. I do see a lot of artists actually doing more videos to support their full length releases
Hmm.
because the costs are not what they used to be. Back in the day, if you're an artist on a major label, a video budget for one video could be 250,000 to $1 million. Like it was just
Especially
insane.
if it was Hype Williams.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Especially
I
if it was-
mean, some of those costs were just astronomical. But now you could shoot maybe 2, 3 videos with 15, $20,000 and
Mhm.
create some high quality content, especially with the kind of cameras that are out there. I mean, people shoot videos with their iPhones, so it's
For sure.
definitely more accessible.
For sure. Now, with AI playlists and algorithm promotion shaping so much of what we hear, how can artists today make sure that they're not just getting in the rubble of everything?
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's a great question. A lot of people need to realize that if you're going to be an artist and this is what you want to do for your career, you got to really build a plan and have a vision, have a strategy for each of these releases, plan everything out. You got to find a way to have a strong brand and unique story that people want to, listen to and that, that resonate because the reality is you got to rise above the noise. There's just so much new music being released nowadays every day at the DSPs that why should anybody over at Spotify or Apple pay attention to release? If they're an editor and you want a playlist, you got to have a story. Well, why should I pay attention to this? And I think a lot of that has to do with developing a plan for each of the DSPs. Because the reality is you might do well on YouTube, but maybe you're lacking a little bit on the Spotify and some of the other platforms. So you got to figure out, okay, I got to figure a way to really build my audience at this platform. And, whether it's, helping out and really driving your traffic and your fans to those platforms with social media messaging and advertising, whatever it may be, it's just a matter of really paying attention to it and figuring out a way to, like I said, rise above the noise and make an
Right.
impact with your fans.
Right, right. And in your time, you've generated over 20 million in new business during your career and played a big role in signing major talent. What do you think? Well, what do you look for in an artist that tells you that they're ready for that next level?
Definitely an artist that has the right work ethic. If you're coming from a major label and independent, you want to be able to realize that, okay, now that I'm indie, I'm the one that's in control. I have to make sure that everything's taken care of, whether it's having a good team around you, to help promote the release, or just having that work ethic to want to do promo tours, wanted to do podcast interviews, want to do all the things a publicist sets up, just to really make sure that you're setting things up the right way so people know about the release.
Right.
Because today's music fan, they could pay attention to you in the next, day or two. They're on to their next favorite song. You just never know. So you want to make sure you seize the moment, put in your unequal fair share as far as work is concerned, and do whatever you can to promote to release the
No,
best
for
way
sure,
possible.
for sure, for sure. And for any independent artist like tuning in right now, who feels like they're doing everything but not seeing the results, what's the biggest piece of advice that you could give?
You got to be resilient. You got to be patient. You got to realize that this is a super competitive industry, especially nowadays when you can release music basically from your bedroom. You don't have to be signed to a major label and deal with all the gatekeepers. Anybody can
Mhm.
release music nowadays. So you just got to understand that it's a grind and it's going to take a while, and you got to put your best foot forward, have that plan for each release, and you never know when one's going to pop. And then when it does pop or goes viral, you got to seize the moment as well and make sure you
Right, right,
capitalize on it.
right. And as Friday being like the main release time, like that seems to be like the release date for new music because I'm always listening to new stuff and it's a lot of new stuff. Like there's sometimes if I wait 2 Fridays, I'm like, yes,
Mhm.
okay, cool. There's a lot of stuff. Is there like a specific time frame? Like could an indie artist change that? Can he just drop it whenever or
Yeah, I mean, artists can release music on any day. The Friday preferred global release date, it mainly comes from the DSP side of things because that's when they focus their programming, whether it's features or updating playlists or just any type of promotion involved. That they really focus on Friday releases. I definitely advise artists to upload their music to the distributor 3 to 4 weeks before release date, so there's time to pitch it to these DSPs, so they're aware of it, so they know what's coming, so you can make sure you're set up for release radar on
Mhm.
Spotify, so you can make your pitches to the accounts basically, and work with your distributor, because any good distributor will want you to have some lead time to really set these releases up the right way so you have a strong
And you know
release
what?
date.
Another question that came to mind also, since you said that, how important are playlists? Like for an artist to get on a place, especially Spotify wise.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important. It's a great place for discovery, especially if you're a new artist. It's where people go to, find their new releases. Back in our day, you would go to Best Buy and see the big Powerwall end cap with
Oh,
all the new releases. It's kind of the same thing, just this
yeah,
generation's version of it, which
yeah.
is the playlist. The today's new hits on Spotify or Release
Hmm.
Radar, that type of thing. So I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, just digitized, as
Because
far
I
as for the digital world.
literally, you hit me in my solar plexus here because I worked in Sam Goody and I worked for FYE. So I remember them. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so you know
I'm old now. Okay, I remember them.
the M1 end
Yes, I
caps,
remember
all
them
that stuff.
days. I
Yeah.
remember them days. I put all that stuff out. I was there when I was at Sam Goody when Get Rich Die Trying came out. So I am
Mhm.
old because that was that moment and it was pandemonium. And you know what I miss though? I think that the world has changed from in-store signings. Like the in-store
Yes.
signings used to be everything, and you can go on YouTube and you'll find like your favorite artists who did them at the time. Like every now and again, I've seen like Beyonce do it because I think they were talking about something about how like one of the fans was so rude. He only wanted Beyonce's autograph. He didn't want Kelly and Michelle, and she specifically slid whatever that merchandise was down to that because that's how much she rode
Mhm.
for her people. But I love those things. I love seeing the in stores. And when we used to do them in Sam Goody, you could literally meet your favorite artists or meet A&Rs that were working there, and try to slide them your stuff and all of that stuff. It was a time. It was a time to be alive. I'm trying to tell you.
Yes.
Um,
Definitely.
so
I,
as far as the legacy goes, with over like 2 decades in the game, well, yeah, 2 decades, about 20 years. Um, what do you hope your impact will be on the music industry long term?
just somebody that was there, that was a advocate of the independent
Hmm.
music community. Somebody that worked with artists and labels, helped grow their career. Um, basically help them flourish and take things to the next level. Someone that's dependable, someone that's reliable, someone that has a lot of integrity, someone that knows that they could call at any time and give it to them real, not give them any type of you know music industry executive BS. Just someone that they can depend on and,
Gotcha,
and, and
gotcha.
trust.
So you once said,
Yeah.
this is how I've been researching, because anytime you say stuff like you once said, you guys are the new kids on the block, but your goal is to be the block. Can you break down what that means, and especially in terms of hip hop and the community?
Yeah, Intercept started around 2018, and we've had some growth up until this point. But I think in the next year or two, we're definitely poised to take things to the next level, to be one of those distributors that, are mentioned along with the Empires and the United Masters and the Orchards of the world. Somebody that's someplace that's a destination for, independent artists and labels for
Mhm.
years to come.
That I think that is going to be massively important. It it's funny how, like, you remember the days of going back in the grind and actually handing out flyers and actually posting flyers onto a wall and hoping that somebody will call you, and,
Yeah.
and putting it on the bathroom, or just being in the right place at the right time. What it sounds like is that Intercept
Mhm.
is that right place, right time. If I'm not being too beyond it. Got
That's
you,
right.
got you.
You're right.
And how would people
Yeah.
be able to really get involved with this? Like, would they need to have funding? Would they, need to come in? Like, how do you find your people?
A lot of times people hit us up on our website, interceptmusic.com. Some people hit me up directly via email. My email is jesse.flores at interceptmusic.com. Or sometimes they hit us up on IG. And it's at Instagram. I'm sorry, at Intercept Music
Mhm.
Official on Instagram. So either way, or it's like a artist referral, from one of our
Okay.
current partners. They have somebody that's looking for distribution. A lot of times it's entertainment attorneys or artist managers. So it can come from various
Gotcha. And
avenues.
you have a artist, I think it was AO Sketch, is that correct? Brought over
Yeah.
like 200 artists to his viral new wave label and generated over 100 million
Yeah.
streams in a year. What was the reaction to the growth, and how does his story reflect the power of Intercept's platform?
That's exactly the type of success story that we like to have here at Intercept. Is someone that came to Intercept and then realized what our platform can do for them and for their artists. And at that point in time, they just decided, hey, you know what? Let's bring them more business. Let's make it happen. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help support indie labels and artists grow. And that's exactly what happened with AO Sketch and his label, is just immediate growth over
That's
the
dope.
past year or
That
two.
is dope. That is
Yeah.
wow. And I mean, that growth is crazy in a year's time. That is
Yeah.
wild. Um
It
so
is.
Viral New Wave is aligning with names like QC, Alamo Records, and Rock Nation. What do you think sets them up for that kind of success, and how is it in how is it that Intercept can support their journey?
I think it's because they have the right strategy and vision. Partnering with different entities such as Rock Nation, like you said, and other artists, and really forming those partnerships is going to help take them to that next level. Having those affiliations is priceless, and being able to capitalize on that and put out new music and new ways to do business in this in music industry of ours is what we specialize in. So being partnered with them and knowing what Intercept can do as a company can only take things further,
That's nice.
which is
That's
amazing.
great. That is so dope. So many platforms are like tech first. but they also forget the human element of what music is and what it really brings. You mentioned and you mentioned, I think it was in one of the parts of the bio for Intercept, that you want to really get back to like a real customer service first approach to this.
Mhm.
Why is the human support so critical, as we know, in today's music industry at this point?
It's very important. I mean, there's distributors out there where you upload your content and send to the DSPs, and that's pretty much it. There's hardly any service offering there. Intercept is the complete opposite. We're here to help you from day one. Once you onboard to uploading content, going through the dashboard, providing a tutorial, and just basically being there to help you guys every step of the way. Whether it's supporting a new release or developing a strategy for new releases, helping you with a marketing budget, on where to spend for, advertising or for promotion or for playlisting. So all those type of things are stuff that we as a team help with. We're somebody that you can reach via email or via phone. A lot of distributors, you might not be able to get them on the phone, or it takes them forever to get
Mhm.
back to you on email. It's
It
not the
is
case at
not.
Intercept, which
It
I'm
is
very
not.
happy
Jesse
with.
is 100%
Yes.
correct. It is not. Because one, the fact that, so your cohort, what was her name again? I'm sorry. Makita.
Makita.
First of all, what grabbed my attention is this: to be a independent podcaster, a lot of times I'll get emails, and the emails are, "Oh, let me grow your brand. Let me grow your brand. Let me grow." I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I'm at a point of, I love what I do, and I enjoy it, and I've done it for my city, and all the things. Right? Cool. When I tell
Mhm.
you that your rep literally listened to the podcast, and I knew that she listened to the podcast because, I'm sorry, I'm going to back that up. She listened to the podcast because she was able to identify specific things that were in the podcast for that episode, for that day. And that for me was the customer service aspect. That for me was the moment that was like, somebody else is listening to this, and it's not just, oh, let me grow your brand for like $50 extra. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
when you say that, I'm really like, yeah, no, you guys really do have it. And then the level of communication between trying to get a time zone, our time, trying to figure, whatever dates it was like the level of communication was on point. So kudos to her, because that was
Yes.
everything. Um,
Yeah. Shout out to Makita Smith, our
Oh my
publicist
gosh, she's had
extraordinaire.
30 years
She's
in the business and everything. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
So when I went to go do the questioning and do my organizing, because what I ended up doing was I still organized out all the questions, put it in like Gemini or ChatGPT, one of the two, and just had it organize it for me, right? I already did all of that. I did all of that because your
Mhm.
your website was so easy to follow. I just automatically did all of that. The next day, she sends over the bio. I'm like, I am in love with organization. Like I love when
Yes.
somebody is that organized. So great. So I definitely appreciate that. I felt the need to really sing her praises, because we don't get that a lot. And especially after like 30 years, nobody's ever looking back to the smaller podcast, or the other people, and for that to be part of your business motto, I think that is very commendable, and I love that about what you guys do.
Thank you. I will definitely let
Absolutely.
her know.
And so moving it back into what we're talking about, for artists coming from underserved or overlooked areas, how can Intercept help them build a real career without having to sign away creative and financial control?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the last two points you mentioned are not really part of our business model. The label and artists, when they join Intercept, have 100% creative control. They have complete ownership. So it's not something that we're looking to take a part in. However, we are there to be your service partner, to provide distribution, to provide access to our tools to help you grow your career. And it would be for a distribution fee like any distributor would, but we just wouldn't have any ownership or part of that at all.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what is one piece of advice that you would give for your younger self just starting out in the music business and where you are now? If you could look back and then tell
Yeah.
yourself everything else is going to be okay, what else would you say to them?
I would have probably said back in the day when I first started, I should have looked more into the publishing side of the business.
Hmm.
I've been in distribution the entire time, but I think publishing was something that intrigued me as the years passed. And if I could, I would probably, made a few more relationships and contacts on that side of the biz.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Um, and who's an underrated artist that you might be keeping your eye on right now?
I would say an artist named Cali Ranks. It's a dancehall reggae artist who formerly signed
Oh,
to Def Jam. We just released his new single "Mood," and it's definitely a vibe. So he's got an album that he's working on right now that's going to come out later this year, and I would definitely say Cali Ranks would be the one.
perfect, perfect. Okay, I'm listening to. Oh, there's also a Caribbean-based artist. His name is Troy Milan.
Okay.
He is fire. He is
Yeah.
fire. Yeah. I've been kind of. It's one thing is when you kind of set yourself in the middle of things and you didn't realize that that's what you're doing. But between him, my homeboy, uh, Tony Crab, like all of these great producers and stuff like that that I've known that throughout the year. And when this series comes out, I hope that you do take a look at it throughout the weeks because some of those people will reoccur on here and they are also awesome as well. So just in case they need anything, I hope you guys keep looking. And
Okay.
I guess, really to wrap up, my final question though is if you could pick one hip hop album that defines your approach to business and music, what would it be?
Wow. Hmm. I would probably have to go with Young Jeezy's first album, Thug
Thug
Motivation.
Motivation 101.
Yeah, just because of how hungry he was. He was when he dropped. I mean, that album took over the streets. Like it was just everywhere,
It
and
is a
it was like a no
classic.
skip type of album, and it was the one at the time. Like I remember listening to that album, and I was just like, man, he came with it. He came hard, and he had the whole rap industry on notice back then.
Yeah. Oh, and especially now with the
Mhm.
anniversary.
Yeah.
And the tour now, I'm not sure if everybody had to, but I did see, like, the commercial promos for the tour with, like,
Mhm.
DC Young Fly, but if he first of all, he came to Baltimore, and I think that was at the Lyric Opera House, so it was very cinematic. I've listened to the new one of Thug Motivation 101.
Mhm.
It hits different. Like, it
Yeah.
still gives you that nostalgia, but to hear it in a perspective of it being operatic like that,
Right.
crazy work. So,
Yeah.
yes, I think that that is definitely a great, great source. But,
Mhm.
I just Jesse, I really wanna thank you. I wanna thank you guys so much for coming out. Again, can you let our people know where we can find you, how they can reach you?
Yeah. You can find me at interceptmusic.com, which is our website. Instagram is at Intercept Music Official, or send me an email, jesse.flores at interceptmusic.com.
Perfect, perfect. Well, once again, we will be right back with a little bit more kicking it with Young Smooth. That's me, Young SMOOVE. Y'all already know what it is. Let's go. All right, y'all. Jesse, I appreciate you. Hold on for one moment, though. All right.
All right.
All right. All right, y'all. That's it. We done. We out of here. Hope y'all had a good time. Hope y'all enjoyed yourself. On to the next. So make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Cause y'all already know what it is. We is outside. And that's on period. Yo, thanks so much for all the laughs. But that's all, folks. That's all she wrote. And until next time, y'all already know what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna say.